You're watching Morning at NTV.
Good morning. Thank you for choosing Morning at NTV. My name is Malaki Vilodera. I hope that you're well, you slept well, you've woken up well, you're geared for the day and for the weekend ahead. So today on Kickstarter segment, we're keeping off politics and we want to give you tips on how you can go about making money this weekend, and not just for the weekend, but something that you can carry through your life and just earn a living. We say hustle free, but of course, when it comes to working hard to earn a coin or two, you have to put in some effort. So in studios, I'm joined by an expert. He will be telling us more about that. Good morning.
Good morning, Mala.
How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm good.
Great.
So let's talk about hustle free ventures.
Yeah.
Easy and we don't have to put in so much. Of course, you told me you have to put in a little bit.
Exactly.
But not so much.
Yeah.
But still earn a living.
Yeah, and I would like to thank you for hosting me. It's a good thing that we first put a disclaimer or a caveat for the people to know that according to Genesis 3:19, God says that by the sweat of our brow, we will have our bread. So for any venture we will discuss, just know you'll put some level of involvement. Otherwise, the negative forces will always come in to disorganize you such that you do not take it smoothly. But with that being said, because we expect these the ventures we are going to talk about to be hassle-free,
yes,
then they are better off done by things which are easy for you, things which you can do with a lot of ease. For example, if I say that I lecture at the university, I love talking. Talking is my bread and butter. So I MC, I lecture at the university. You see, now that's what I call hassle-free. I do not have to struggle. Even if you woke me up at 2 a.m. in the morning, I could give you something I could talk about a topic, about business, about the things I lecture.
It's in you.
Exactly. So even the people out there who are watching us now, they have to start to look into them. When they look into them, they will find the things that come off easy for them. For example, if you love fashion, like you're looking nice today, if you love fashion and you have the sense of style, then it means it will be very easy for you to venture into fashion. It will be very easy for someone who loves music to go to church and teach kids how to maybe sing or play piano. Now, hassle-free would mean less involvement, and less involvement would mean things which come easily to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one of these things, like we were talking before, is renting out your car.
Yes.
So not just over the weekend, but this is something that you can do even on weekdays.
Yeah.
So when you're in the office, instead of keeping your car in the parking lot, rent it out.
Exactly.
Let it do some errands, earn you money, and then get it back in the evening.
True.
Break it down for us.
And it's good you've mentioned the car business. I always try to look at you having your car, driving it to your office, then parking it, and then losing out on the money which could be made during the day. One, I never advise people to just rent out their car, because these days the roads are really congested. Every border is coming through. So the best thing you want to do is to place safety first. So I would recommend you go and find out how you can comprehensively insure your car.
Okay.
Now, for example, if you went and comprehensively insured maybe a Raum, you could maybe put in like 1 million or 1.2. Then you could also put in a tracker at maybe 300 to 500,000.
Is a tracker important? If you get a trustworthy driver.
Mala, because I'm a businessman and a business person, I always advise people on business. In business, we do not trust people. We trust systems. So even if you go to your brother, even if you go to your cousin, even if you go to your high school friend, and they have your car, they cannot tell you, for example, if they wanted to go and bury, they would just drive off. I mean, it's an emergency, and they can't call you and they're like, Mala, can I take your car to my village? You would, of course, say no. You'll be like, I told you to drive my car in the city center. So the idea is, you put a tracker, you are only going to trust the system, such that when they say they did not work today, you check it on the phone and you're like, yeah, the car is actually stuck. They're not working. they did not go past the 20-kilometer yardstick which you agreed on, the tracker will show you.
Okay, so how much is a tracker?
A tracker would range from maybe 300 to 500,000.
So let's put the upper limit.
The upper limit
so
of 500.
Okay.
Yeah. So you comprehensively insure such that when it gets an accident, you just walk to the insurance company and you're like, can I have this car back? Of course, there will be some form of hassle according to what the policy you signed. But I mean, that's the best way to operate. These days, we're even seeing trees falling on cars.
Right.
So it's best you comprehensively insure. It's best you put a tracker. So that's your system. Then you talk to this person who is going to drive your car. And maybe you choose to say, use my car to maybe only drop off kids. Use my car to only maybe do special hire.
So you have to niche as well?
Exactly. The reason being is every element will come with its own risks. You do not want to give out your car and the guy, it's a room. I mean, it's only supposed to carry passengers, and the guy is putting in cement because, I mean, they have to meet the bill you asked for the day.
Right.
So you have to put some caveats on the car. You're like, this car only takes kids to school. So drop them off, put them there, bring this money. And you realize it will work. But when you do not put something like that, then you will struggle. You will struggle to pick the money. The car will depreciate every day. Okay. So I remember there was a time I used to rent out my car for people who are doing weddings. You give out the E-Class and they give you 500,000. And then, because I had not put a caveat, I realized I was spending a lot of money in repairs. Yeah, you come when they have removed the logo, because the decorator put something through that logo. And when you look at the logo, 300, 500, you've lost the whole entire thing. So you need a caveat. So you then tell him the terms. This does this, and at this time I want the car. Okay. So that's what you have written down with them.
So in terms of paying the driver per day, how much are we looking at?
Usually what happens is the drivers will always pay themselves. So for you just agree on the minimum you want to take. For example, if you say, I give you my room, you use it to pick and drop off kids, you give me maybe 30,000 a day or 40,000. So this person will go, because these days they transport kids for like 450,000. Yeah. So if he packs in like 4 or 5 or 6 kids, for him he has done the mathematics of 300,000 times my 7 kids, which is 2.1 million. So me, all I want that particular month, I want maybe 30,000 a day, which is 90. So that's when the car can really make you something. If it's comprehensively insured, you will know every time it has a damage, you just walk to the garage and it's worked on.
So the driver will just pay himself. You just work out the math and you get it.
Exactly.
So in terms of fuel, how much are we looking at? Because we want to see how much I will have to put in and how much I will get out.
Now, amazingly, these cars, the cars that I'm going to I would advise people to really hire out are low-consuming cars. For example, Raum, you would find that thing. Let me not even use the Raum. This the Primo new model. You can put in 50,000 and you go to Masaka and come back. Albeit that the fuel prices are rising up, but you can put in 50, go to Masaka and come back. So Masaka is 140 kilometers. Now 214 is 280 kilometers. Right. When you're to do it in the city service, in the town service, you find that actually 50,000 can run you for, let's say, a pick and drop. It can run you for like 4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days?
Exactly. 4 or 5 days in those low-consuming cars. And again, the person who takes the car fuels it up and they pick their balance. So at the end of the day, for you, you're not looking at the fuel. For you, you're not looking at you're not looking at the fuel, you're not looking at the paying the driver. So they find their way. Okay. Yeah.
So what we've agreed is 1.2 insurance, then 500 for the trucker, then the fuel, the driver will cater for.
Exactly.
So the initial great investment is around 1.7 million.
1.7 million.
So on the upper limit, let's put it at 2 million.
At 2 million, yes.
Okay, and this is a cost that you not incur every single month.
Exactly.
The fixes.
Exactly. When you comprehensively insure, that's for a full year. When you put a tracker, that's for life.
Right.
So the idea is, I see you break even in like 2 months. when you do something around the car. Because if they gave you 30,000 a day, it means in a month it's 900,000. Now let's put it on the low. Let's say in a month they give you like 700,000. All you need is 2 months and you have 1.4.
Yeah.
You've already recouped the money you used to insure.
Right.
Yeah.
And the beauty of this is you already have the car. The car is yours.
Yeah, you have the terms. They have to return your car. So
Yes.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And
yeah.
the only thing is that you're not putting it in parking.
True.
So in a day, a maximum in terms of the profit is around 50,000?
Yeah, 30 to 50.
30 to 50,000.
Yeah, 30 to
Great.
50, yeah.
Okay, let's move to the other hustle-free, quote-unquote,
Yeah.
venture. And this is blogging.
Yeah, blogging. Thank you, Mala, for mentioning that. The key issue is, you remember what I said? I said people would need to find the things that come off easily for them, things they love doing. Now, if you love writing, writing is a very, very lucrative venture. People are earning out of writing. People are writing in the newspapers, but now bloggers are writing on the internet. So let me give you an example. If you were writing for a company, for example, you write for an insurance company, you could tell them that maybe for every article I need $200. If you're writing for maybe any company, you just find the company and you tell them, I'll be writing for you. So you showcase things you can do. You showcase things you can do, then you start writing. Other people who do not meet the companies do it the other way. They go and write about some things they love, things they really love. Then people pick interest. Let me give you an example. There are people out there who write about maybe fashion. Now, when you write about fashion, a newspaper which has a fashion column will pick interest. Now they are like, okay, you can write on the internet. Can you also write for the paper? And that's when you go into terms and you're like, let's talk about a fee.
So start something.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And now this is the cheapest, because let's see what you will involve. OTT.
Yes.
It's 200 shillings a day, which is 6,000, and you'll have to be online. For example, if you subscribe to maybe 300 MBs for 2,000, so you're paying 2,000 to be just online, and you're putting there, you're just writing everything you want. It could be about food, it could be about music, it could be about business, it could be about anything, but your passion, it just comes out. It comes off easily.
And naturally.
Exactly. And you do not even have to think about it. The reason we really love people like MJ the Late, it was because when he was dancing, everyone was like, what is this guy doing? But he was having fun doing it. The people who play music and they have fun doing it, you could write about music. You could write about everything that comes naturally.
So let's go down to the coin.
Yeah.
So if you realize that you're good at blogging and you love writing, and you realize that I'm passionate about writing about fashion or vehicles or real estate, housing and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So I go down to writing, like you said, it's just OTT and maybe the MBs that you need.
And you have to be online, yeah.
So if I want to take it to the next level, and for example, a newspaper identifies me, how much should I charge them per article? What's the value? What's the range? Exactly.
Now that's another beauty thing, that in business or in money-making venture, the way you charge should always be according to your goal. If you really want to drive a Range Rover, there is no reason why you should really charge low if you really have good stuff. If you really have a goal that you want to now use this writing and go into real estate, there is no reason why you should charge low. The issue is you have something nice, they have headhunted you, they like it, then you have to charge. The guys who play football, let's look at the guys who play football. The guys who play football are doing something naturally, something they love. If you look at the money they charge, you cannot just say, hey, but he didn't pay. He didn't play this weekend. Why are we paying him the weekend? The guy is doing something, and his agent is really charging you. So for starters, you could talk to maybe a growing business, and you're like, maybe I could charge you like maybe $50.
Okay. Per article?
Per article.
All right.
So, and you're like, it will be coming out every week. So I'm looking at you earning $200 a month. Now, $200 a month doing something you love, it's still hassle-free.
Right.
Now, if I took you to, if you didn't do blogging, even if you still do blogging, and you talk to a big company, and you're like, hey, I have a following. Because when you write nice stuff, you gather up a following, and you're like, hey, look at the people I have who are following me. Now, these people who are following me are going to be your clients. Now, let's start. Now you start showing them the numbers. For example, at House of Wealth, we have a page, and on that page I do a podcast every Saturday at 5. Now, what happens is we reach out to 200,000 people every month. 200,000 people every month. Now, what is going to happen is we are going to sell off our show, and you're like, okay, you're a company. We have 200,000 people coming to see the business advice on our House of Wealth Facebook page. Can we charge $2,000 for every podcast? And it only happens every weekend. Now, you will see that 2,000 times 4 is $8,000. But a bank would pay that.
Right.
An insurance company would pay that. Any company that is trying to help people become financially free would want to associate with us. But how did we start? I just sit in my chair at office, put my phone, put internet, VPN or OTT, and I mean, the people are learning. So when they learn, I'm doing something I really love, which comes off naturally.
So what you're saying is, once you've found that you're good at something, start. But when it comes to fields like blogging, since you don't have to put in so much, invest in so much to start, then be so excellent such that you can call the shots in terms of the pricing.
That's the thing.
Okay.
When you and that's why the word genius, there is a gentleman who was saying that the word genius should really stand for a gene in us. There is a gene in us. And that gene is like, you know when you meet a genie and you're like, you have to rub a lamp, and they tell you what you want. So the idea is, every one of us has that great natural given talent which has to be discovered. It's somewhere in a lamp. Now, you could run online and leverage the internet, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. People are waiting to see that. For example, me, I just talk about business. I just talk about business. I just talk about anything money, business money. Now, people pick interest and they're like, hey, he's teaching us for free. Let's just load data and learn. Let's take pens and paper and learn. Now, the issue is, it has gained traction. Now, when it gains traction,
hit it.
Okay. You have to charge. But then the other thing is, you have to add in to add in some work by doing research. Now, when you're a blogger, you have it naturally. Add some God-given talent. Add some research by learning about other bloggers. How are they doing it? How can I improve this style? Can I push it to movies? Can I push it to songwriting? All that is a lot of money. If you see how much people are earning to write, how much people are earning to really appear. So we are now looking at our Facebook podcast every Saturday at 5 as a multi-million shilling business. And we're like, okay, let's just improve it. Let's just try to do what we love.
Right.
So I urge all people to be able to find the niche in them, something they love doing naturally. It's pure money, and it will be hassle-free.
Okay.
Because when you have to be a lawyer, it can't be hassle-free.
you have
to do 4 years.
Yes.
Then you go to LDC, you do a 5th year. You get.
Yes.
If you want to be a doctor, you do 5 years of medicine. You have to go then to Mulago and do maybe internship or anything.
And even the practice in itself is full of hassle.
Exactly. If you look at now how much lawyers are going to give the junior lawyers, it's a lot of work. You need like 10 years to be really pinpointed.
Right.
But these other things we are doing, things like, for example, Kiprotich put in a lot of maybe exercise, but the guy is a runner. Me, I'm a talker. You also talk. For example, this should be hassle-free for you. When they tell you, Mala, you have to appear on TV, you should find it easy to wake up. And how would you know that the business will be hassle-free? When you do not have to say, thank God it's Friday. The moment you have to say, thank God it's Friday, that's a hassle. The moment you have to, for example, all the people who do their things that come off naturally, they sometimes I'm in office up to midnight. I love what I'm doing. You get the idea. So when you love what you're doing, when it comes off naturally, you're not thanking anyone. It's Friday,
and you're not looking forward to rest.
Exactly.
It's what you love doing.
They tell you,
exactly.
They tell you the show is tomorrow at 6. You're up by 4. Right. You're up by 5. You're not even struggling. Okay. So that's when it will really be hassle-free. But when they have to tell you that the show is tomorrow on tomorrow by 6, and then you set all these alarms and they'll you see then it's a hassle. Because if it's a hassle to wake up, then it will be a hassle to earn.
Right.
Yeah.
You have mentioned something very important, and this is what mainly young people are looking into, and that is brand development and charging for appearances.
True.
It's happening, and many people are earning a kill out of that. Just appearing and you're paid.
Exactly.
In a nutshell, as we come to a close, because we have like 5 minutes before we close.
Okay.
Break it down for us. Where does someone start in terms of, because you have to be a brand. So where do you start in terms of developing that brand to that place where you can appear and get paid?
First of all, thank you, Mala, for that question. But I want to first let the world know what is a brand. The brand, a brand is how the people feel about something. A brand is an experience. For example, we buy a Mercedes and drive a Mercedes because at the back of our mind we are like, hey, it's luxury, it's secure. You get the idea.
Right.
So even when it comes to individuals and you want to build a brand, you have to ask yourself, what will people feel about me? Now, me, I talk about business. That's why when you call me and it's a political show, I'm like, I can't come. It would damage my brand. So you have to identify what are you and what are you not. Now, the moment you realize that this is what I have to be, then every time you turn up, that's what you have to represent. They give you 2 minutes to speak. For example, if I talk about money, every time they call me, whether it's a birthday, whether it's, even if it's a burial, and you were to call me to give me 2 minutes to speak, I throw in some money-related thing to build a brand about it. Now, people have to know you. You have to come out and they know you.
Stand for something.
Exactly.
When they think of Newton, they think money.
Exactly. Okay. So I was telling a friend of mine who is into decor, and I was telling her, why is your status having other quotes and other things? Put a decor. Put your profile picture as a decor. Change decor. Let it be inculcated in people's minds that that's decor. Now, if you're Mala and they're like, you want people to know that maybe you're into fashion, then that's where you run. Now, the moment you go on crafting that and you put it in people's mind. For example, when we see Ken Luchams, we're like, that's politics. When you see Norbert Mao, you're like, that's politics. Okay. But the man is a lawyer. But you do not want to take a case to him, even though he's brilliant. When you see him, you're like, politics. You get
so don't be a jack of all trades.
Exactly.
Stick to one thing and preach it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you come out there. Then it's presentation. You need to now to up the other soft skills. You must be able to meet people in the corridor and you're saying, please, thank you. You step on someone, you say sorry. Such that you build a repertoire that guy is a nice guy. Okay. Exactly. I mean, no one is going to be putting hinges into you before you turn up anywhere. Right. So you have to come up there. You have to improve the soft skills of presentation, of dressing up, looking nice, and I mean.
So it's still an investment, but you earn out of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, true.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Newton, for coming in studios. I'm sure you've learned a thing or two. So you can actually earn money out of your passion, hassle-free. So just look through yourself, do a self-evaluation test and get to know what you're really brilliant at, and look at how you can leverage that to earn a coin or two. That has been it for Kickstarter segment. Morning at 10 TV still continues. Up next is On the Ground with Andrew Chamagero. Keep it here.